Welcome back to another episode on the GT. So in this episode, it's going to be quite a quick video. I just want to get the car out and drive it again. It's sat for far too long. Me doing the clutch, me not sure whether the clutch is fixed. Discussing with the manufacturer whether they're going to give me a new part for it, remanufacture it, re-engineer it, whatever. So yeah, this week's video is just me getting it out there, give it a quick blast, check it's all okay. Thank you as ever to everyone who subscribed. Thank you to the members. If you want to become a member, there's a button down the bottom. You can only get to on PC. Subscribing is free. Just press it. It supports me, allows me to carry on doing videos, helps me grow the channel, keeps me motivated and stuff like that. But yeah, let's just dive in there. I'm just going to get out there and get it on the road. So this is the video I've been waiting to make for quite a long time now, let's be honest. It's probably, I don't know, I'll have to look through the video. It's probably 3 months though, that I started the clutch repair on this GT. It all started with this weird sort of moaning noise that no one seemed to know what it was, what it could be. Some people were pointing towards the thrust, like the release bearing, some were saying the pilot bearing, but no one really knew. It just seemed to me really weird that no one had ever heard this type of noise. It's very much a moaning noise, not the traditional sort of clutch release bearing noise, and not like a clatter or anything weird. But anyway, I was left with no options, just to dive in there and get the clutch out. So there's a number of videos showing me removing the clutch, and it's a pain in the butt, I'll be honest. You can do it at home, it's no problem. But that damn thing is heavy, and when you're sort of laying under the car with this 15, 17 kilogram lump of metal on your face, it's pretty scary. But it's definitely doable. For reference, I did mine with just 2 axle stands holding the front of the car. The back was laying on the floor. I did not remove the exhaust. I just dangled the exhaust down, so undid the manifolds and then let it dangle and supported it at quite a low position. And that was fine. And yeah, okay, you have to slide under, but it's not a massive problem. So, as you would have, if you've watched those videos, I replaced the clutch. I took the car out, or I didn't even get the car out of the driveway. I don't think I even got it out the garageway. And the clutch blew up again. And it's basically a little circlip, it's called a snap ring, that can't take the pressure of the pressure plate, can't take the force of the pressure plate. And as soon as you press the clutch release arm, it pops this clip off. And it's not the clip that you and I would fit that holds the bearing to the pressure plate. This is a clip that holds the bearing into the mount. If you've not really looked at these, you won't know what I'm talking about, but there's a mount that the bearing sits on. And that's factory fitted, or whoever manufactures the bearing, that is done with them. Anyway, this clip was not suitable. So, across my videos, I fitted this clutch 5 times. I even did it twice in a weekend, which sounds crazy, but when you're left with no option, you just have to keep going. And I'm not one of those sort of people, as you'll know if you've watched my channel before, I'm not to give up. I just don't give up. And I'm actually prepared to do more clutch fittings, but we'll come to that later. So I fitted this clutch 5 times, and across that, I kept trying to work out why is it failing. It's always this same clip. And I finally anchored on a theory that is to do with the orientation of the clip. If the clip is like this, and it's got an opening of about, I guess about nearly a centimetre, 10 millimetre. If that opening is facing towards the pivot point, it is under less force than if it faces towards the clutch release arm, the slave cylinder that pushes it. And if it's facing towards the pivot point, this uneven force across the clip will cause it to close more and therefore stay in place. But if it's facing towards the clutch, the slave cylinder, which is basically the bit that you press at your clutch pedal, if it's facing towards that, this unequal force will have the effect of opening up the clip and therefore making it ping off. And I posted this theory on Renlist, and a few of you replied to it. I was fairly vocal with it. And shortly after that, I got a message from someone who had their car in the garage, and it happened to him about, I think he said 3 or 4 times. He'd actually bought 3 different versions of this bearing from the same manufacturer. So 3 similar versions of this bearing from the same manufacturer, in a hope that one of them would work, and maybe it's just a bad batch. Each one kept failing. And I explained my theory to him, and he told his garage to fit it how I'd said. And then shortly after, the same day, I received another message from someone. And I thought, this is strange, I'm getting so many messages from people. So I just said, oh, do you have a 928 or anything? And he said, no, I don't actually. I actually work at the company that makes these bearings. Could you explain? So we went through, had a really great chat, and he was there with an engineer who tested what my theory and agreed that would do that. That will do that, exactly what you're saying. So I've left them with the problem. They're going to work out how to do it, and that's why I'll probably end up fitting one more clutch, because when they send one through, I will try it to prove that their new bearing works. But as you can see, I'm out driving now in my car with the new bearing and the clip fitted how I suggest, which is facing towards the pivot point, and it all seems good. I've been out, I've got petrol. I took it out yesterday for a quick blast, just to check, like a pre-video drive, and I'm taking my time. I'm sort of, the car's not been driven for a while as well, so I kind of want to give it a bit of a shakedown, make sure it's okay. What I can confirm is my heater is stuck on, it's boiling. But yeah, the car seems quite happy. It's functioning. I'm using the clutch. I want to build up confidence again in the car, because when something like this happens, you just lose all confidence. You don't want to take it out anymore, and I think it's really sad. And I should be taking this out because they're such great cars, and it doesn't deserve just to sit in the garage. So that's what we're doing today. The next work I want to do on this is the oil change. It's a nice easy oil change, gearbox oil change as well. I've got all the fluids. I think it deserves it now. Actually, I've got the filter as well. I've got everything I need to get that done. And then I'm going into the intake manifold, because this is not breathing correctly. It's not opening the, is it called a flappy valve? It's not opening correctly when it hits 4,000 RPM. So it's down significantly on power. It's still a very torquey engine, but there's no point revving it out or anything, so I just don't bother. Not that I necessarily want to, but that's what the GT's for, isn't it? must say I'm over the moon with how this is driving. It's smooth, the engine's like torquey. I haven't revved it particularly high, but it's been sat for a while, so I don't want to. The clutch feels smooth, the clutch is light again. It's just so good to get this out on the road, finally, after the trauma that was that clutch. I'm not saying that people don't try and do your own clutch. I always recommend you try if you can, because it's how we learn, it's how we keep these cars alive. I think taking these to Porsche garages or to independent garages is not really financially viable. Certainly not in the long run, and as these cars become more and more rare, I think they'll get more and more expensive to look after. But it's definitely doable work. You know, I do it sitting at home on my floor, laying on the floor under my cars. It's not that hard. If I can do it, anyone can. But God, is it good to get it done and get it out there. So this will come back on the road now as one of my dailies. I've got two other BMWs, sort of modern cars that I use. But I go back and forth to school runs every day. So this will go onto that rotor. So it's getting used, getting out there, being alive again. So really pleased with that. So that wraps this video up really. It's just a quickie to show you that the car is alive, the clutch is working, and it's all looking good. We'll see you next time.